These days, I struggle to play games. Well, I've been a gamer since basically my entire life. I had an Atari 2600 that belonged to my father, or at least a very similar one that we had here in Brazil. And I remember that the first game that I played there was kind of a hide and seek game that we had there. It was pretty much just a couple of squares on a screen, nothing more than that. But since then, I owned a Super Nintendo, or Super NES, a Mega Drive, and a PlayStation 1. Like growing up, those consoles and games were a crucial part of my life. I wasn't exactly a sports type. So yeah, I've been a gamer for all my life, but these days I struggle to play. It's not that I don't have the time, but to find the time to actually sit and play and the energy to play over and over again is something that I'm struggling with. I still enjoy the games, don't get me wrong, but I don't enjoy as much as I would like, right? Sitting there and play and dedicating myself and learning new games and like getting through the missions or the grind. I think that's something that I struggle pretty much these days. And like getting good at the games, especially that. I would love to get good or get better at a lot of games, especially like competitive games. I love RTS. I would love to be a top 100 player in Age of Empires or to beat Baldur's Gate over and over. But to my shame, I haven't played Baldur's Gate at all because I know I will not have the time or the energy to beat it. Do you feel like that sometimes? I think that's a reality for many people, especially like people 30 plus who have lives, and don't find the time to sit and play so much. But I wonder why. When people ask me about that, I usually respond that, oh, I'm a game developer. So I'm always working with games and reading about games and studying games and game design. And, whenever I have spare time, I would rather spend it doing something else with my friends or hanging out or, exploring a hobby or whatever. For example, reading comes much easier to me these days than playing games. I mean, once in a while, I'll still get a game that I'm very hooked on. Most recently was Space Marine 2, which I beat. I did beat it. And it was super, super fun. But then a couple of days later, I'm back again in the burnout state of playing more games. And there's this feeling that I have kind of often. I'm not sure you guys feel the same. Like that by playing, I'm going to be wasting time, right? Which is absurd. I waste my time with several other things, and playing games is probably one of the most interesting and productive ways of spending my time, of spending my free time, especially because I'm a game developer. So playing games is kind of part of the job, right? It's like a movie director watching films. You have to watch films. It's a repertoire. For me, it's good to be able to know games and the story and characters and progression systems and etc. All of the mechanics. I can use that as research in my job. But playing games is not supposed to be research. It's supposed to be something you do for fun or to learn something new or to challenge yourself. And that part is still a struggle. If you also feel like that sometimes, I hear you. You're not alone. And to me, many times I feel like less of a gamer, because I don't play as many games as other people do. I'm not as good as they are. I don't have hundreds of hours like they do. So I feel kind of less of a gamer, which is a bummer because I am a gamer. I've always been a gamer. So I have this identity crisis as a gamer myself. And as a gamer, I would love to do many different things. I would love to have that level 99 character in World of Warcraft, to brag about. I would love to be top 100 in a lot of the games that I care about. I would love to speedrun the Resident Evil games, which I love. But turns out that I don't do any of that. And I even force myself to play. Have you guys done that? Like I force myself to play every day or every other day. And many times I can't even do that. I have this list of to-dos, which includes playing games, because I want to get more consistent in playing games. But that kind of defeats the purpose of doing it for fun. Games are supposed to be fun, supposed to be something that you pursued for yourself. And not being able to put in the hours that I need to be really good at the games that I love is really frustrating. And the funny thing is that I put a lot more time watching games, watching matches than I do playing. And if I would do the other way around, like if I would instead of watching matches, I would actually sit and play, over time I would be very good at playing games. And why does it happen? Like, what are the possible causes? Have you guys thought about that already? Maybe it's simply part of an adult life, right? Being an adult, paying bills, having duties and other responsibilities, you don't find the time and mental bandwidth to play so much anymore. You stress out throughout the day, or you burn yourself out with the duties and a job and responsibilities, that when you sit down and play, you're already burned out. You used your mental space that you would have to play, but it's already used. So you don't have it anymore, and you would rather, watch Netflix or do whatever. Because games are actually a very active thing. It's not like just sitting down and chill. You have to think through, you have to learn the game, understand the story and the characters and the mechanics. You need to overcome all of the challenges and puzzles and bosses that the game puts in front of you. And all of that is very consuming in a way. It should be very rewarding as well, but it is very mentally consuming and demanding. And by the way, I also don't make it easy on myself, because I only like to play hard games. I get bored very easily if the game is any easy. And whenever I get to choose the difficulty, I never go to normal or easy. I always go to hard and up. And that does not make my life easier, because, at hard mode, you have to struggle more. You have to put in more hours and try many times more than you would have to in normal mode or something. And then, I think that I'm really going to be wasting my time if I do something that is easy just for doing, right? I do want the challenge. I'm not that like chill kind of guy when playing games. I do want a challenge. I do want to be better and to overcome something that I was struggling with. I think that is the satisfaction of playing at least most type of the games that I like. But at the same time, you need to put in a lot more hours, and you need to struggle a lot more and try a lot harder. And many times it's just simpler to put the game away after a few failed attempts. So how do you get out of that cycle? Well, I do not have any answer. Sorry. I wish you advanced the video until this point, because now you can close the video. I'm kidding. Don't close the video. Like, hit subscribe button, share with your friends, like the video and whatever. But I mean, one of the reasons might be because today we usually spend so much time in front of our computers, in front of our cell phones, just sitting down, doing stuff, that our brain doesn't get any breaks from computers and from gaming. And many times when you're just there, trying to play, not even playing, but trying to play, looking at your Steam gallery, trying to decide which game you want to play, but you actually don't do that, still your brain kind of perceives that you didn't have any breaks from gaming, and it's still burned out. And another thing, at least for me, that I noticed is that if I watch too much stuff, too much content and tournaments and people playing games and talking about games, if I watch too much of that, I lose interest in playing, at least in that session that day. Right? So what I'm trying to do is to watch less of that. Instead, trying to play more, even if I don't perform that well, because, in competitive games, RTS or many other kinds of games, RPG, you have to research online. You have to look for builds and tips and tricks, and you have to watch pro players playing the game so you understand, you learn it better. But by doing that, you can kind of burn yourself out again. So I'm trying not to do that. Maybe you should do a little bit more as well. Like just sitting there to play, even if you don't perform at your best, even if you don't know, the best build for your RPG character, for your barbarian or your wizard, it's fine. And another thing that I think is much of an issue nowadays is that you have to learn how to enjoy each session of the game, each moment, right? It's not just about beating the game, beating the whole thing, or getting the achievements, or getting to level 99 or to the ultimate boss. You have to breathe in and take that moment for yourself. Like, explore the landscape, do something silly with the mission that you have in hands, right? Or the session that you have, the match that you have there. Explore something that is fun, but not necessarily useful or optimized, right? Many times, especially in any kind of competitive play, we always want to be the most optimized possible. And that burns us out very, very fast. So just try to have some fun. Try to explore something new in a different way, in a silly way. Don't rush through the cutscenes. Don't try to get the fastest way possible. Unless you're speedrunning the game, then absolutely try to do that. Games are so amazing that each combat, each mission or scene or part of the game can be super interesting and teach you something new. So try to be open to absorb that, right? And one of the ways that I find that's more interesting and engaging to play is sharing with friends. So get your friends together, like schedule a weekly time for you guys to play and do something fun together, maybe exploring different games or, just going deep at that single game that you guys play, might be a competitive game or whatever. Just try to enjoy that moment together with friends because I think it becomes much more compelling and it builds commitment in you. Unless you hate your friends, in that case, don't do it at all. But if not, that usually helps. And we are overstimulated as a society all the time. Like we are being bombarded all the time with information and shallow entertainment. You don't realize, but it does burn your brain cells. You accumulate so much mental fatigue by consuming all of that stuff, social media and videos on YouTube, that when you stop to do something just for yourself, you don't have the mental bandwidth to do so. You don't have the energy. You don't have the stamina. So try to reduce your social media time a bit. In general, just to live a healthier and non-chaotic life, that usually helps. Even videos like this, like stop this video right now and go do something just for yourself. Go develop a hobby. Go give yourself a break from all of that information because people will tell you that you need to get all of the information. It's the fear of missing out, but you're not actually missing out on much. All right, you still there? We're at the end of the video anyways, but I hope this realization was useful for you. And I'm trying to do that more myself. This video is really a personal expression here because I am struggling with that feeling and I feel a lot of people can be as well. So maybe we should share the discussions and do something about it. So yeah, I wanted to share my thoughts because I imagine that might resonate with a lot of people. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time.